Hey, welcome back to our channel. And if this is your first time, we're more than happy to have you, because today we're doing something completely different than a standard travel video. Today we are going to be comparing three major cities in Colombia: Bogota, Medellin, and Cartagena. Why are we doing this? Because frequently we're asked which city we found best, or which city would we live in if we were to relocate to Colombia. And this is a difficult question to answer because it depends really on what you're looking for and who you are. So in today's video, we're comparing some major points like climate, cost of living, safety and transportation, total noise, like city noise and stuff like that in this video. So if you're looking to relocate to Colombia, this is the video for you. Stay tuned. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start with some basic information. Let's start with Bogota. Can you tell us something about Bogota, Jose?
Sure. So Bogota is a major metropolitan area, major metropolitan city, 8 million population. However, it is quite large, so it doesn't feel crowded. High elevation, 2,300 meters. Yeah. So, you know, some people may have issues. If you have issues with altitude sickness, this may or may not be the place for you. Something to consider. International airport, Bogota seems to be the major international airport hub in Colombia. Most domestic flights, international flights, all seem to go through Bogota. Another major point is the water. Water is drinkable. That's a nice bonus.
Yeah, no doubt. Bogota being the capital city of Colombia, it is the largest city in Colombia. So if you like big cities, this is the one for you. Yeah, so Medellin, I would say, is the next city we'll touch base on. And basically, it is a little smaller than Bogota. It feels kind of the same. It has 3 million people, residents, living in Bogota. And one of the best things is that it has the best infrastructure and best public transportation system in Colombia. So that's a big selling point. It has drinkable water, and it has everything to offer that all major large cities has to offer in Colombia. So yeah, it's got the look and feel and the modernization of a full-size mega city. And it is, it's 3 million people. That's not small. What do you tell us about Cartagena, love?
So Cartagena is obviously a smaller area, 1 million in population. I say smaller. A million's no small feat.
It's not small.
However, it's really a beach town, yeah. Resort area, a lot of hotels, a lot of beach area, oceanside, beachfront property, small malls. There's no hot water in a lot of the areas that we've been to anyways, so that is definitely something to consider. Yeah. And the water is not drinkable, so you will have to
put in a filter.
Put in a filter.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so there we go. So that's basic info on each of the cities, and let's get into it. All right, so one of the most important points, or frequently asked questions, if you will, is what's the climate, the weather like? So for Bogota, you are basically looking at a cooler climate, where it's going to go somewhere between 8 and, like, depending on the month, you're looking at 8 degrees Celsius going to about 18 degrees Celsius. That is your typical day. What that means is it's definitely cooler. Now, during rainy, it has 2 rainy seasons, which, if you're not used to a rainy season, here's what you can expect. Is it will rain every day during those seasons. And there will be major downpours on most days. I'm talking shower stuff and everything. An umbrella will not save you. You will get drenched if you are caught in those rains. So you have to be aware of that. Now, because it's cooler temperatures and it does rise during the day, it means you have to dress in layers. So that's what your climate's all about. You will basically be cooler in the morning and start shedding your layers throughout the day as you're going around and everything. And it ends up warmer, like 18 to 20 is pretty nice on most days, especially in the dry season. So yeah, basically that's all you got to do. That's what you got to know about. Now, one of the things, because it's 18 to 20 as your high, you will never get a tan. Bogota is not a tanning city. You have higher elevation, and that's probably why it rains more there than anywhere else. Just, you got to know these things if you are considering Bogota as your city to relocate in.
I would say the elevation also makes it a little cooler, hence why the no tanning. So
Yep.
depending where you are in the city, there's different elevation points.
It's a mountainous city. It is literally a mountainous city, so it's like you are high at elevation, and basically the city has been created within the mountain structure and in the valley of it. So it's beautiful, it's picturesque always. But yeah, it's going to be cooler.
All right, so our next city, Medellin. Medellin, the temperature is really kind of perfect almost every day.
Yeah.
It's not too hot, not too cold. It seems to vary between 18 to 26 degrees, your typical day. There's 2 rainy seasons, however, we have not experienced it, so we don't know how much rain it gets during the raining season. We had really picture perfect weather at the time we were there. Although not in rainy season, every day seems to get about an hour of rain. Small drizzles, really nothing major, not like Bogota's downpours.
No, not like Bogota. Not like Bogota at all. And yes, you can tan in Medellin.
Yes, you can.
It gets warm enough. You can go out if you have a nice rooftop patio area. It's like you most definitely can take in the sun there, and many do. So yeah, Medellin, it's kind of like the best of both worlds sometimes. It's pretty darn cool. All right, and last but not least, Cartagena. Well, Cartagena is pretty much the same thing every single day. You'll wake up, depending on the time you wake up, it'll be either be 26 to 28 degrees Celsius, and it'll go to about 32 every single day. It'll always be sunny. It never rains, basically. Sunny, a little wind on occasion, but yeah, you can just count on it. It's technically a beach resort town, and yeah, it's 32 every day. Just count on it, and that's that. That's the climate there.
Very tropical.
Yeah, very tropical. If you like the hot weather and everything, this is it. This is a town for you.
All right, so the next point, cost of living. Overall, I would say there wasn't a major difference between Medellin, Bogota, and Cartagena.
No.
Everything seemed to be relatively the same cost. Food, lodging, pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
There are 2 things maybe to mention. Bogota being cooler due to the high elevation. You may need extra blankets. A space heater. Some mornings we woke up, it was a little chilly.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And Cartagena would be the opposite. So being really hot, obviously you want something with air conditioning. The water not being drinkable, you'll want a filtering system for your water.
Yeah, for the most cost, that's about where costs will vary, I guess, from each of these cities. It's like outside of that, I think it's probably uniform for cost of living across the board.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. All right, and with respect to transportation, for each of the cities, well, it's slightly different here and there. So for one, Bogota and Cartagena each have bus systems. Basic bus system as everybody expects to see and everything. In Bogota, there are a lot of reserved lanes where the buses get to avoid the traffic and everything because they've got their own lanes. That's pretty cool. In Cartagena, none of that really exists. It is basically a bus system that is quite honestly overtaxed, overcrowded, and overused. There's just not enough buses going around for the people that are using them, and you could end up with very long lines at the stops and everything for boarding and everything. So yeah, you need to know about that. Now, Medellin, that is really the cream of the crop when you're talking about public transportation. It has everything. It has a metro system, so subway. It has the buses, obviously, and some dedicated lanes. It has metro cable cars to get you up and down the mountains, and even some of the cities for elevation, it's even got escalators built in, like Comuna 13. So yeah, it is what we would call a really evolving city with state-of-the-art technologies and infrastructures put in place. So that is the place for any growing city. If you want to get into it and have all the comforts of a major city, Medellin, that's the one for you.
Medellin even has the free bikes, the bike share. So they have a bike share service. They seem to be enforcing a lot of the bikes, the bicycles in Medellin, and it's a free service to the locals.
Oh, I see, that's cool. I had forgotten that detail in there. And the other point I want to touch on is, besides that, is taxis. So now again, taxis are readily available in all the major cities, obviously in all 3 cities. And just I want to mention that the fare, the meter, you need to negotiate your fare in advance because the meters, they don't use them. I have not seen a single taxi in any of the cities use it. So just be aware before you get in that you got to negotiate and set a price. As far as ride apps go, they work very well in Medellin and in Bogota, not so much in Cartagena. So meaning basically if some apps are kind of restricted, I guess, by country and everything. So us being Canadian, the most popular app that was used there was not available in our app store, so we just simply could not use that app. So we were using less favorable apps, and quite honestly, it wasn't working so good. There were very few drivers available every time we needed a taxi, and there was few drivers available. And the GPS on the app wasn't exactly finding our location all the time, so drivers couldn't find us. So it's like we'd call the taxi and it would be 2 streets over, the driver would be waiting for us in there, and we just couldn't connect in there. And so yeah, less favorable in Cartagena. All right, now with respect to safety, okay, I would personally place the order of safety this way: Cartagena, Bogota, Medellin. With Cartagena being the most safe and Medellin being the least safe. So basically Cartagena and Bogota are both very safe. You can walk around day and night and not worry too much. You can have your phone in hand, expensive phone, camera gear and stuff like that, and you're not really at risk of being robbed in these cities. Don't do this in Medellin. Okay, Medellin is not as safe. You have to practice proper safety precautions in Medellin, meaning you don't show your valuables, you keep your valuables hidden, you do not walk around with your phone in hand and arm because someone will come and take what you have if it's of value. Medellin is not as safe, and that goes for even El Poblado district. You can walk around in El Poblado at night and everything and be relatively safe, but you still have to be checking your SIX and you still have to be keeping your valuables hidden. It's just not there yet like Cartagena or Bogota. That's it.
All right, so city noise levels. So Bogota, major metropolitan city. Overall, though, the noise level we found was relatively low, especially at night. We rarely got disturbed at night, surprisingly, for such a large population.
Yeah.
So Medellin produces much more noise level, I would say, day and night. It's not uncommon to be woken by some of the street noise, occasionally our neighbors playing music, even music in the street sometimes. Cartagena. All right, Cartagena is on its own level. So Cartagena is resort town. You will be woken. You will hear a lot of street noise. It's a party town. So you will hear noise from the streets, party buses, neighbors playing their music, celebrating all night till easily 3 a.m. in the morning. That's just life in Cartagena.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there were a lot of nights we did not get any rest until 3 a.m. in the morning. And I think that's only because during our time, COVID or whatever, there was a curfew. Things had to go quiet and get closed up at 3 a.m. I don't know if it's always like that. So the party might go on till 6 in the morning outside of COVID or whatever. We just don't know. But it's important for you guys to be aware. If you're not the party animals and you plan on relocating to Cartagena, and you really need to find a quiet section in there, which we had not really found. There was noise all night long, and practically 7 days a week, guys. It's like there were days, that the noise was just going on and going on and going on. It felt like there was always a reason to celebrate there, and there was somebody always celebrating. So yeah, just to be aware, guys.
Another thing in Cartagena, so the taxis tend to honk, looking for fares, looking for rides. You will hear that all day, all night.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It becomes, constant, and it feels never ending. It's just honk, honk. They're honking to say they're available for a fare. So yeah, you hear it constantly. If you're relaxing at the beach, you hear it honk, honk, honk. It's like, geez, come on, guys, seriously, get a light for the taxi or something. It's like, I guess, you know what? I never really got used to it. So yeah, that one's kind of a pet peeve of mine. It really bugs me, that honking constantly. I don't like honking. It's like, so yeah, it bugs me. Okay, next point we want to cover is street vendors and being solicited on the street. In Bogota, there are fruit and vegetable carts on a lot of different corners, and they don't bother you. They're there, and they'll happily sell you produce if you want, but you will have to approach them. They are not lobbying or soliciting you or running along you, beside you and everything, or catcalling to get you over to come over and buy some fruit and vegetables. Very civilized, very nice, very comfortable. Medellin, slightly different story. Meaning that there is a lot of vendors, street vendors, and a lot of peddlers. They're doing performing on the street and everything for change, and beggars. And so, look, there's a lot of people trying to get your money in Medellin off the street. And they will be aggressive about it sometimes, meaning that you will tell them, no, you're not interested, no thank you, but they'll run along beside you with a hard sell, constantly trying to tell you to convince you to buy their product, service, or whatever. It gets to be old. That solicitation, that hard sell, if you will, is annoying. Now, fortunately, once you've been there for a couple of weeks, because it's the same people on the street that you meet every day, so they also learn who you are, and they leave you alone after that, which is nice. A little different in Cartagena. Cartagena, it's a resort town. Now, Cartagena you will be heavily solicited, I mean constantly. You cannot walk 15 meters without somebody offering you some kind of service or soliciting you in some fashion. It cannot be done. And I don't care what time of the day that is. So you will get taxi drivers offering you taxis. The second you walk out of your hotel or your Airbnb, right out the door, taxi, taxi, it's like, it's there. Tour guides constantly with their promotions. Restaurants, as you walk down the street, trying to pull you in basically for the meal, offering you their restaurant. Beggars on the street, peddlers trying to sell their produce, or trying to sell hats, or trying to sell skin lotion, or trying to basically sell any of their products, even open bags of candy, trying to sell you individual candies by the dime. Look, it is a constant barrage of solicitation, and it never ends, unfortunately, in Cartagena. You can be there a month, which we were for 30 days, and it doesn't change because they have a heavy turnover and they're constantly moving around. They do not recognize who's been there a while and to leave them alone. It just doesn't happen. So it is a constant barrage. Look, that's life in Cartagena. It's important for you to know, because for me, that annoys the hell out of me. And I would not choose Cartagena as a place to live for that sole purpose.
All right, so biggest single positive for each location. So Medellin. So Medellin, we were in the El Poblado area. It really offered us everything we needed. We had great restaurants nearby. There was great shopping, huge malls. The climate, can't ask for better. Cartagena, epic waves. Epic waves.
So true, so true.
The beach, obviously, if you want fun in the sun, the waves were definitely
big selling point for us.
Selling point
we
for
like
us.
Playing in those waves.
Bogota was nice, but it didn't really offer us anything special, I would say. Was your typical metropolitan city.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, just nothing special about it. Just nice. It's just nice, but that's it. Great place. Happy we visited, but I think I would rather go to Medellin or Cartagena before Bogota. Personal personal taste.
Yep.
Okay. And for the largest negatives, if I was to say negative about each city, Medellin, it's not that safe. It's like, you got to watch out. You always got to be checking your six. That can wear on you at one point. It's like, so you can't wear your valuables outside in there. And so that's the biggest negative for me with Medellin. Outside, I think the city's amazing. As far as Cartagena goes, it's just too noisy and too much solicitation. So that's the biggest negative for me over there. The weather's amazing, the beach is great, there's a lot of wonderful positive things and places to visit in Cartagena. Other beaches there. The only thing is, it is a noisy city and it's just way too much solicitation. Bogota, rainy season. Look, if you're not used to the rainy season, it can be really, really hard on the morale where it's like a lot of days you can't go out or you're gonna get soaked on or whatever. So yeah, we're not big fans of the rainy season, at least not in Bogota. It's pretty heavy. So look guys, if this video was helpful for you guys, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out all our videos on each of these cities, because we've got different videos for each city, several, and we've got a complete playlist on each one. So look for the playlist on Medellin, Cartagena, and Bogota. There you go guys, and don't forget to check out our future travels.
Enjoy.
Thanks for watching.